right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
Bought out and bulldozed for airport expansion.
W1W messed everybody up.
Tonight, a new plan to land new industry and jobs in an old neighborhood left to decay.
Cool mornings, warm October afternoons continue. Plus, I'll time out when we may see a brief shower.
Our top story lit up over an event to light up the sky.
And I don't feel enough precautions were taken.
Thousands of lanterns let loose, many now littering nearby land. Thank you for joining us at 10 tonight. I'm Brent Solomon. Mike and Kelly have the night off. The Lantern Festival in Wright City has happened over the past 5 years. Well, tonight, some neighbors are upset over the aftermath of this year's event. New tonight, 5 on Your Side's Annie Krall is just back from Warren County. And Annie, you spoke with those impacted and even the owner of that festival.
That's right, Brent. Around 8:30 Sunday morning, Colleen Pilcher dropped her daughter off at work at Pumpkins Galore in Wright City, sharing what she saw in the fields on social media, sparking some serious controversy.
And I just noticed what looked like trash everywhere.
That's when Colleen Pilcher, who lives in Wright City, snapped pictures Sunday morning remembering Cedar Lake Cellars hosted Night Lights event on Saturday, releasing thousands of lanterns. Many ended up in the fields of Pumpkins Galore.
As we approached even closer, I looked over at some cattle in the field and realized there was 2 of them actively chewing on one.
The owner of Pumpkins Galore didn't want to go on camera, but told 5 on Your Side he feels badly these pictures have gone viral, leading to negative comments about Cedar Lake Cellars. The company behind the event gave notice to neighbors and businesses in the days leading up to the release, saying the biodegradable lanterns made of rice paper and bamboo would be cleaned up by their team by Sunday afternoon. The local Holt High School wrestling team were just some of the volunteers helping, but Nightlight owners Shane Kofid said Pumpkins Galore didn't want the help.
We want to be respectful of their property too. They didn't want us to come on site, so we didn't clean that part up, and then it kind of created this Facebook post that went kind of viral about it.
Kofid says the pumpkin patch owner is now asking for money to cover the cleanup done by his employees.
There was a side-by-side driving onto the field that looked like he picked up something white, either like a garbage bag or a lantern out of the field.
You could take a photo at any point in a sports event or a concert and say, wow, look at all this carnage that's left behind, but if you don't do a follow-up post an hour later, it's kind of a one-sided way to portray it.
The mayor of Wright City says she's gotten several emails from concerned citizens about the loose lanterns, but since the event is held in Warren County, she has directed them to the Warren County commissioners. The Nightlights owner said he's still hoping to return next year for the nationwide experience. Brent?
All right, let's see how that goes. New plans tonight for an abandoned neighborhood in Bridgeton. Thousands of homes in the Carrollton subdivision were raised 20 years ago for expansion at St. Louis Lambert International Airport. Well, now the airport wants to redevelop some of that land located just west of the W1W runway near 270 and 370. 5 on Your Side's Laura Bachesky's talked with people who once lived there. And Laura, people here seem to really have some mixed feelings about this.
Brent, there are a lot of problems with the old Carrollton neighborhood in its current state. Not only is it a dumping ground, but it's also contaminated in some areas, concerning former residents. Behind the gates, the large trees and overgrown grass lies the remains of what was once a bustling Bridgeton neighborhood, Carrollton. Meet former resident Mary Kendall.
My mom and dad were original builders over on DuPage. We loved our area. I mean, I grew up as a kid. I moved my kids back here.
It's right next to St. Louis Lambert International Airport and was bought by the airport for expansion and as part of a noise abatement program. Kendall says she'd hear a plane almost every 10 minutes.
And there's another airplane.
Desi Shonoweiss also grew up there and watched her mom struggle with the buyout in 2006.
She was living amongst vacant houses and vacant lots, and it went from being a pretty safe neighborhood to really feeling very unsafe and insecure.
And now it's gotten worse. The area is a dumping ground full of trash, most of which you can't even see from the road.
People fly into St. Louis. This is their introduction. I've been on flights before where people look down and went, oh man, that place is creepy, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I used to live there.
Another problem, it's contaminated by radioactive waste and other materials because it's right next to Westlake landfill, hurting many of the former residents.
We're over 1,000 people who have gotten cancer or died of cancer. That's too many.
Now the airport wants to lease out plots of the neighborhood for commercial redevelopment like office space, cargo handling, or manufacturing, to name a few. Kendall says in its current state, more people might get sick.
Nothing should be done on this area until Westlake is cleaned up. They're going to be disturbing the soil during the cleanup.
Shonaway says she'd really like to see change and has been writing a book documenting the neighborhood's history.
Any kind of development at this point is better than just sort of leaving things in the decay that it's in.
The airport sent me a statement saying they hope this will help them continue to be financially self-sustaining and create new jobs. They'll be accepting proposals until the end of January. Also, if you're a former Carrollton resident with health issues, we'll have some more information on KSDK.com.
Thank you, Laura. Tonight, a man is behind bars accused of robbing two men on a Metrolink train while wielding a machete. Prosecutors have charged Christopher Crockett with armed criminal action and robbery. That robbery happened yesterday afternoon near the Central West End station. Police say they arrested Crockett less than a mile away after tracking one of the victim's stolen cell phones. Well, the man convicted of a car bombing that ignited years of mob wars in St. Louis has died in prison. The Missouri Department of Corrections confirms that Anthony Leisure died yesterday of natural causes. He was sentenced to life in prison for the 1980 deadly car bombing on I-55 in South St. Louis County. And that led to several attacks between him and others' families. And he was 78 years old. Well, tomorrow marks exactly 2 weeks until the November 5th election. It is also the day Missouri's version of early voting begins, known as in-person non-excuse voting. And tonight, election officials are urging voters not to wait to cast their ballot.
Long 20-inch ballot's got a minimum of 40 choices on it. The ballot is not a test, but it will feel like a test if you don't prepare to vote it.
Now, the longer than usual ballot is covered in races and questions on the front and back. Officials warn the lengthy ballot could lead to long lines at the polls.
I've seen voters sit there for 40 minutes. Like literally, it's happening right outside my office. I see the same voters sitting there for 40 minutes just staring at the ballot. If we're only going to get 15 to 20% vote early, we're going to have a massive amount of people vote on Election Day, which is going to make for long lines. That's why we're encouraging people to come out early in this 2-week period.
And here's a tip to save you some time. You can bring notes and your sample ballot with you so that you're prepared when you get to the polls. No excuse absentee voting in Missouri ends on November 4th, the day before Election Day. Wednesday is the deadline to request an absentee ballot by mail. Early voting is already underway in Illinois. It runs through November 4th there. October 31st is the deadline to request a ballot by mail in Illinois. With just 15 days to go, the presidential campaigns are in overdrive tonight. Former President Donald Trump spent the day in North Carolina, where he actually toured some of the damage from Hurricane Helene, while Vice President Kamala Harris went on a battleground blitz in Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, both candidates taking shots at the other.
Donald Trump is an unserious man, and the consequences of him ever being president of the United States again are brutally serious.
She's not a very bright person either. That's a really dangerous combination. Your religious liberty will be gone, your free speech will be gone, your Second Amendment will be gone.
Now, many polls show the race remains neck and neck. We've put together a comprehensive voter guide for you. It's available right now at KSDK.com. If you text the word guide to 314-425-5355, we'll send you that link. New tonight, investing in downtown St. Louis. New retail and bringing new life to old apartments. It's part of a business boom on Washington Avenue right now, and a local developer tells me he's not stopping anytime soon. A renewed vision for a more vibrant downtown.
So you can walk out the front door here and there's Thai restaurant, there's sushi restaurant, you can go to Rooster for breakfast, you got Bella's for froyo.
And developer Alex Oliver wanted in on the action after building properties in other parts of the city.
So we've been in Central West End, the Bolivar neighborhood, north of Del Mar Loop area. We've done quite a bit in South City over the years.
Now his focus is downtown. Last year, his company acquired the 6 Court apartment building here at 10th and Washington. Right now, a $7 million renovation underway, upgrading appliances, amenities, and overall decor. On the first floor, vacant space that will soon welcome more dining options.
That retail activation.
Directly across the street, Buddy's Wine Bar and Bistro just opened up shop last week. Housed where the former Mango and Mosaic restaurants once lived.
I've seen it in its ups and downs, and I feel like we're at this renaissance phase where there's a lot about to happen downtown.
Owner Corey James lives and works downtown.
So we're kind of doubling down. We're going all in. Next year should be one of the biggest years for conventions, and we want to be a part of that.
Investment and intention. That's how you make a vision reality.
And the more of those residents move in down here, the more they become customers for these ground floor retail spaces. Those retail spaces make it so more people want to live here and becomes this kind of virtuous cycle.
Oliver Properties says it is eyeing even more projects in the downtown area to continue building on that same model to step up foot traffic. Getting more bang for your buck at the checkout line.
You'd be surprised how many consumers overlook this basic money saving tool.
Tonight, the savings you can find by looking beyond the price tag. Kurt Warner, warming hearts, how the Super Bowl MVP is still scoring for St. Louis.
October has more warm afternoons for us, plus I'll time out brief shower chances and when we may see the next cool down.
Well, tonight, nearly 400 workers in the Metro East are on strike, demanding better pay. Members of the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Engineers walked off the job at E&B Line overnight. They're picketing outside of the company's facilities in Highland and Troy, Illinois. They want at least a 15% pay raise to support their families.
They wanted to give us 0% of an increase, and we started with 25%, and they came back with 0. And we ended up with 3. That's not even close.
A company spokesperson says they're disappointed at the decision to strike despite a tentative agreement. E&B Line says it's committed to getting its employees back to work. Layoffs tonight at the oldest university west of the Mississippi. St. Louis University is cutting 23 staff members. Another 130 open positions won't be filled. University officials say right now the cuts only affect administrative posts. The school plans to cut another $40 million in expenses over the next 2 years. More time tonight for millions of federal student loan borrowers. The Biden administration is extending a pause on payments for at least another 6 months. It's President Biden's latest attempt to forgive student debt as the administration continues to defend the plan against legal battles waged by Republicans. Well, these days we're all looking for a bargain at the grocery store. Tonight, Consumer Report shares a pretty simple and often overlooked tool that can help you save big bucks. Here's Mike Bush.
Have you ever found yourself in a grocery store aisle wondering if that giant jar of pickles is a better deal than the smaller one? So how do you choose?
I don't really look at prices.
I just always buy the same size.
That's where unit pricing comes in. It can help you determine whether buying bigger or smaller, name brand or generic, is better.
Unit pricing isn't a new concept, but you'd be surprised how many consumers overlook this basic money-saving tool.
Here's how it works. The unit price is essentially just what it sounds like, the price per unit of an item, whether in ounces, pounds, or any other measurement rather than the total cost. For example, here's the price for this bottle of ketchup, and this is the price you'd pay for a larger size. Comparing unit prices tells you which one is the better deal. Just be sure you're comparing, say, ounces to ounces. If you need help converting items to the same unit, you can search online for a unit pricing calculator to make it easier. Or,
if a unit price isn't listed, simply divide the cost of the item by the number of units.
Keep in mind that paying a slightly higher unit price for a smaller size might sometimes be more economical if it's an item you don't use often and will end up throwing away.
Unit pricing helps you see beyond the price on the tag to know the actual cost of your purchases.
Bottom line, a little label and price tag sleuthing, along with some simple math, can really add up and give your household budget some much-needed relief. For Consumer Reports, Mike Bush, 5 on your side.
And most stores provide unit prices for much more than just groceries, including personal care items and even household products. Well, the annual Warner's warm-up kicked off today. Over the last 24 years now, legendary St. Louis Rams quarterback Kurt Warner and his wife Brenda have collected more than 300,000 coats for children. The tradition of giving has actually continued long after the Warners and the Rams left town.
This isn't really about us anymore. This is really about the community here in St. Louis and the way that they've supported this program for so many years.
The coat drive runs through November 3rd. You can donate new or gently used coats at more than 100 drop boxes all across the St. Louis region. We have them listed for you under the As Seen on TV section of KSDK.com. 5 on Your Side is a proud media partner. Well, we've barely experienced a fall chill, but Steinberg Skating Rink is getting ready for a new season. The largest outdoor ice skating rink in the Midwest posted this on social media today. The countdown is on. Opening day is November 15th. Time now for that weather impact forecast. Meteorologist Jim Castillo is in for Scott tonight. And Jim, it's fall, but my goodness, will it ever feel like it?
Right. I mean, November 15th for ice skating, it doesn't seem like we'll get there, right?
Right.
So,
we're not on track for it.
Yeah, well, 78 today, Brent. 11 degrees above average, and well, it looks beautiful out there. It's so nice. It's going to be a mild night tonight. You know, we've had some cold nights over the past couple of weeks, but it's 66 now. Our average high is 67, so we're still almost at the average high at 10 o'clock at night. Humidity at 43%, and then you look around, you get to the valleys like Chesterfield, 49. And then Salem, Illinois, still at 61. 61 also in Centerville and Sullivan, Missouri. Just amazing numbers here. 63 in Warrenton. Now lows tonight outside of St. Louis, couple cool spots in the 40s. But even right through downtown, about 55. So high pressure keeping us dry. And then we do have just a little bit of a system to the west of us here. Not a lot of moisture with it. There's some showers and storms in Kansas and Nebraska. As it heads into that really dry air, most of this is breaking apart. But we'll watch this cloud cover and a few showers in western Missouri. And so tomorrow's forecast, that front kind of weakens as it pushes our way, this warm front also, and it might spark a quick shower. But look at the futurecast, just showing a little bit around the region. Not everybody's going to see it, and a lot of cloud cover from time to time through noon into the early afternoon, and then it really clears up. And we're still going to be well into the 80s around the area. In fact, low 80s in St. Louis. What you'll notice is the wind. The wind will pick up south 10 to 15, gusts to 30 miles an hour. So not a day to fly drones, that's for sure. Temperatures, again, extremely warm, actually, not just mild, warm. In fact, way above average. 77 on Wednesday. We'll watch Friday. A front comes in, and another chance of maybe a spotty shower in here, but you know, then we get to the weekend, near average highs Saturday and Sunday, maybe a spot shower Sunday, most of us dry, and temperatures at about 70 to 68. So upper 60s, low 70s. And here we go, the advanced tracking, just showing you this, the next fall front approaching us as we get into next Wednesday and on Halloween. So that's probably our better chance of a shower in here. Otherwise, it is just fantastic. You might as well just enjoy it. And we're hoping for rain, but just spot shower chances in here, and highs mainly in the 80s and 70s.
Pretty mild. I like what you said. Just enjoy it while you can.
Yeah.
You know, it won't last forever.
It's gorgeous.
Jim, thank you, my friend. Frank Cusimano standing by.
The Cardinals are making coaching moves. And just how tight is the Brady Cook coach-drink relationship? And the Blues had some fun celebrating Halloween with some kids today. We'll be right back.
Sunday Night Quarterback is sponsored by Midwest Bank Center.
Do you have any limitations? And I said, no limitations, let's go. And he looked back at me and said, let's go win this thing.
That was the conversation that Brady Cook and Eli Drinkwitz had when Brady reappeared on the field Saturday. Keep in mind, he'd been gone for almost 2 hours. I gotta believe this has to be one of the few times in sports history where an athlete starts the game on the field or court, then goes to an actual hospital, and then returns to the game. And Brady wasn't just returning, he was cooking. On this run right here, he was clocked at 19 miles per hour, which is the fastest he has traveled all season long. That's with a bad ankle. Then it was time for the clutch throws. This one on a 3rd down to Luther Burden right there. And this was the biggie. On a 4th and 5, a perfectly thrown ball to Luther. Coach Drink was emotional after the game in talking about Brady, and Brady told me last night what that meant to him.
It means a ton. You know, me and Coach Drink have been through a ton together. We really have. You know, this is our 5th year together. Highs, lows, the roller coasters of college football, the wins, the losses, the criticism, the love. You know, we've been through it. And this was just another one of those moments, you know, one of those moments of, you know, why you play college football, you know, why we play at Mizzou, why we love Mizzou. And it was just super, super special to share that with him.
The Athletic is reporting that John Jay is returning to the Cardinals as a full-time coach. Jay spent 6 of his 11 years with the Cardinals, including the 2011 World Championship team he coached with the Marlins last season. Willie McGee has chosen to step down, but will remain with the organization. Ravens in Tampa, and there's a reason Lamar Jackson is the defending MVP. Here's a 49-yarder to Rashad Bateman. Get this, Lamar threw 5 touchdown passes and had 5 incompletions, and the Ravens lead it late 41-31. The Blues are on a nice roll. 2 in a row. They host Winnipeg tomorrow night. There's a good feel about this squad as the younger players are expediting the learning curve. The Blues skated this morning at Enterprise Center. Robert Thomas was a full go after being cross-checked late in Saturday's win over Carolina. Oscar Sundqvist continues to skate and could return any time now. So could center Alexander Texier. They're coming back to a roster that is learning to adapt to up-tempo, physical teams like the Hurricanes and Islanders.
I thought we were the team that started to put a lot of pressure on Carolina. But again, I think it's not until you're in the fight, you don't really know. You kind of want to prepare the players, but you know, once it starts happening, they realize how little space there is, how little time there is.
After practice, the Blues welcome kids from Children's Hospital into the locker room for some trick-or-treating. Jordan Binnington even had his mini Binny. The players wore costumes, handed out candy and autographs. We asked forward Dylan Holloway his favorite costume growing up.
One year I went literally as a hockey player with rollerblades, and I went to school like that. So I was skating around all day. I thought it was the coolest thing.
That's a pretty cool thing. The teachers let you skate down the hallway or in the classroom.
Yeah, they weren't thrilled about it, but but it was my Halloween costume. I get one day a year, so they had to let it go.
And how about this? WNBA players have opted out of their current collective bargaining agreement. There could be a work stoppage after next season. The reason, they want more money. And I think Caitlin Clark gets an assist for this. TV ratings, attendance, and franchise values have all gone up since Caitlin entered the league. So all of a sudden, it's a hot league.
Yeah.
And these very talented female basketball players want more money, more benefits, better travel, and a lot of it is because of Caitlin.
They're saying we know our worth.
That's right.
We'll see if they listen.
It's kind of like when you wanted to get more money here. We just decided.
I follow your lead. I did what you've done all these years.
But I didn't get it. You got it.
So you think.
All right.
Frank, thanks. Halloween Hot Zips, the guide to the best by-state neighborhoods for trick-or-treaters. Well, going home for the holidays may feel just a little different this year. A Bankrate survey finds more than 80% of holiday travelers are changing their plans, all due to inflation. This includes driving instead of flying, traveling fewer days, and picking less expensive accommodations. Instacart, helping trick-or-treaters pick the best neighborhoods to hit on Halloween. The online grocery delivery service put together an interactive map, giving each zip code a scare score. It's based off of sales of candy, costumes, and decorations. The brighter the orange on the map, the more Halloween spirit. All right, a surprise arrival at the Humane Society of Missouri. An alpaca gave birth just hours after arriving. This was at the Long Meadow Rescue Ranch last month. Now the ranch wants your help to name that baby boy. They've narrowed it down to Michael, Alpaca Chino, Pacha, and Fruit Loop. So pick between those. You can vote now on Long Meadow's Facebook page. That name will be announced next Monday.
Alpaca Chino, I love that.
You want to go for that one? What's your pick since you have so much
I like
feedback
Frank.
tonight?
Frank.
Frank's a nice name.
That's a good one. Frankie.
Jim, do me a favor, buddy. How are we looking weather-wise?
All right, how about 82 tomorrow, which is insane. 67 is our average high. 77 on Wednesday, it's still 10 degrees above average. 75 Thursday, you know, there might be a spot shower tomorrow, most of it's dry. Same for Friday, spot shower possible, 76. And you'll notice the wind tomorrow, by the way, and then the weekend we're about 70 for the high.
Oh boy, doesn't feel like fall. That's all of our time, my friends, but we're always streaming on 5+. Start your day with Today in St. Louis beginning at 4 in the morning. Have a great night.